What is up, Straight Fire fam? It's me, Jason McIntyre, Straight Fire for Monday, June the 30th. June is over, ladies and gentlemen. July begins mañana. Very excited. You know what that means. Free agency in the NBA. Um, Obviously, if Giannis gets traded, we will for sure have an emergency podcast. There's no doubt about that. But around the holiday, we will take a few days off here coming up. But we figured we'd just give you a heads up on that as we head into the month of July. Really, the dog days of some All-Star game. Hopefully Caitlin Clark returns soon because, WNBA really needs Caitlin Clark. And then you got hopefully NBA moves. No NFL still for a good month. Obviously, this is a job where interesting stuff happens, and LeBron James, front and center, Sunday morning, decided to opt in to his contract. He will make 52 mil something or other, a lot of money. Now, I was trying to be offline as much as possible over the weekend, but when I did dig into it, the usual suspect. Why didn't LeBron take a pay cut? Why didn't LeBron take less money to get guys? LeBron was averaging like 25, 7, and 7 this calendar year. He ain't taking a pay cut. I mean, I know you guys don't want to believe it. He's still a top 15 player in the league. Sorry. That's just the reality. And this idea that LeBron should take less is just goofy. Now, where it does get interesting is this speculation. Well, maybe he gets traded. I personally find that to be total nonsense. I cannot imagine a world where LeBron demands a trade at this age. I cannot imagine LeBron going anywhere other than the East, where he's going to have a better chance. Now, would he go back to Cleveland for, what is this? This would be part 3 in Cleveland, a third tour of duty. I don't think he's going back to Miami. I don't particularly know where else he could go. Could he go to the Knicks at this stage? But what, are you giving up youth for an old guy? It feels so difficult to trade LeBron that I'm of the belief he's not going anywhere. And then everybody's like, well, the Lakers can't build a contender. And I totally disagree with that because they were third in the West. And I'm going to keep saying that till I'm blue in the face because that's the reality. They were third in the West behind Houston, which got a lot better, and OKC, which won the title. And we've seen the last few champions, whether it is Denver or Boston, as soon as you win the championship, there is a step back. You're not as hungry as you were. That's just nature of the beast. And then teams lose guys. Now, OKC ain't losing anybody, although Boston didn't lose anyone, at least nobody that I can think of. Denver did lose a couple role players off the bench, and that impacted things. But I think they blew a 20-point lead against Minnesota in the second round, game 7 at home. Very wacky. So this idea that OKC is going to repeat, let's just pump the brakes, guys, okay? They needed 7 to dispatch Denver, 7 to dispatch Indiana, and don't make me go into all the injuries. Like if Halliburton doesn't go down in game 7, guy had 9 points in the first, 8 minutes? He was cooking. So this idea that LeBron and the Lakers can't win a chip is goofy. But Rob piqued my interest when he's like, well, the Lakers could trade LeBron. And to me, that's kind of sort of interesting. So I personally think there's like a 0% chance. Now, you can never want to say 0, but Rob seems to think LeBron could be a former Laker. So I'll let Rob take it away.
Well, first off, let me just say that I agree with you that I think these comments that LeBron put out through Rich Paul, which was said to Shams Charania at ESPN on Sunday morning, were more about leverage than anything else. I think LeBron is doing what he always does. It's his annual apply pressure to
Yeah.
whatever team I'm working with to ensure that they cash in all their chips to give me the best chance of winning. Right. Like that. LeBron is very selfish in that regard. Not even blame him. Right. Because, it's his career. He can do whatever he wants. But here's the quote to anybody who missed it. Quote, Rich Paul to ESPN. LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership we've had for 8 years with Genie Buzz Rob Pelinka and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now. We're preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count.
It's just like the 2 timelines thing that the Warriors went through with
Exactly.
Weiss and Kuminga.
And
But the
so
Lakers don't have young studs.
Well, I mean, they got Luka Doncic, he's right in the middle of his prime. Austin Reeves just entering his prime, so I guess you can count those guys as quote unquote young studs. Um, so first off, if LeBron was that serious, that gung ho, like, hey, I only want to win a championship. This is all I care about. This is the only reason I'm playing. Then he would have taken a pay cut, right? Like that's first and foremost. If all he cared about was rings, but then again, that'd make him look like a hypocrite because he just said a week and a half ago on his podcast that rings culture is stupid, and anybody who talks about that doesn't really know ball and they don't really understand what we go through as players. Like that's a different conversation, right? So if that's really what he was talking about, he would have taken a pay cut, stay with the Lakers, had all kinds of flexibility to add or subtract whatever you want to this roster. That's number one. Number two, even as a Laker fan and a guy who generally likes LeBron, I'm getting really, really turned off
Uh-oh.
by this attitude that he's had basically the entire last 15 years of his career, where it's like he has to have all the best players.
Well, yeah. Why would you want to not have the
he
best
can't
players?
like the idea of you just mentioned it. They were the 3 seed with Luka Doncic, who for my money is at worst a top 3 player. I think for you he's probably top 2. And they only had him for half the season. And half of the season, he was out of shape, playing into shape because he was coming off an injury, and he put on like 30 pounds. Even with
Stop.
that, you were the 3 seed. You were heavily favored to beat Minnesota in round 1. And I believe you were the second or third favorite to come out of the Western Conference. Let's not forget, I'm not blaming LeBron for what happened against Minnesota, but let's not forget that in a very critical game 4 on the road, all LeBron has to do is inbound the ball to Luka Doncic. He gets fouled, they hit a couple free throws. The Lakers come back to LA 2-2. What does he do? Throws it damn near to half court, steal, foul. The rest is history. Lakers end up losing that game. But no, we can't point that out because that would go against the narrative for the king,
Oh
right? We
God,
can't, we
Ron,
can't
you
say
sound like I hate. Are you really a Lakers fan? What
I
a
love the
rant.
Lakers. I love the Lakers. And that's why this is so frustrating because it's like, I don't know if it's because I'm used to the Lakers always being good or I'm used to, you know, having Kobe who's like, hey, if you get me one more guy, we're in the mix no matter what. Pau Gasol, at the time the Lakers got him, had been swept out of the playoffs every year of his career. But he gets to the Lakers and suddenly he's the best number 2 option because Kobe and the system and Phil Jackson, a lot of other factors helped elevate him to a level that he hadn't been to before. LeBron is like, nah, I don't need to elevate anybody. I just need whoever is Anthony Davis. I need him. I need Russell Westbrook. I need to handpick all of my 3-and-D options. We get Luka Doncic, and that's still not enough. And he's still like, well, you're not really doing enough to help me win. And it's like, bro, everything they've done, or like 90% of what they've done since 2020 has been to placate you. And at some point, you got to wear some of it as to why this hasn't worked out. You got to say, hey, maybe my style of everything revolving around LeBron James doesn't necessarily work anymore in today's NBA. Like that's
But
just
don't you think they're thinking like, hey, it's now going to be revolving around Luca?
exactly. And you would think at this stage of his career, that would be a good thing. It's like, hey, I don't have to do the heavy lifting anymore. I can show up. I can fill in all the gaps. I can commit myself to defense a little bit more. I can commit myself to being like a rebounder a little bit more. Whatever it is, I don't have to be Superman every game anymore. And instead, this is the point number 3. He floats out. I again, I think it's supply pressure, but to kind of leave the door open at all to suggest that you might be willing to play elsewhere because the Lakers are not on your timeline anymore and all I want to do is win, to
Mm.
me sounds like, did you see what's going on in the Eastern Conference right now? Boston's falling apart. Not only did they lose Tatum, they're giving away their entire starting lineup in trades. Tyrese Halliburton's out for the season. The Knicks don't have a coach. Like shit, I could roll over there right now, go back to Cleveland. Me, Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley, like we could totally win the East. And then once we get to the finals, we're gonna have an undersized, relative to LeBron, an undersized Oklahoma City team win our way. Why not us?
All right. Okay.
And
Rob
and,
is
and
just
it's
going
it's
off.
just like, but
Jeez.
if you really want out, and I don't blame him if he does, but if you really want out, then say less. Like I'm ready to move on from LeBron James if that's what he wants.
So my guess is LeBron looked at the rest. So Dorian Finney-Smith obviously is a big name that they got to keep. But Rob, after next season, the Lakers will have a shit ton of cap space. Rui Hachimura entering the final year of his deal. Gabe Vincent, final year. Maxi Kleber, final year. So essentially, the Lakers are starting to plan. Hey, forget this year. What are we going to look like next summer? Who can we go after? So I'm assuming LeBron and company saw that, and they need to keep DFS. They have to keep Dorian Finney-Smith. If they lose him, that would be, I don't want to say catastrophic, but they don't have anyone like him. He's a much better defender than Rui, right? He's way more offense than Jared Vanderbilt. And if you lose DFS, you're really taking a step back. I would like to see this Lakers team fully formed. I don't know who their big center is going to be, whoever they get. It's starting to sound like Nick Claxton's going to be available for the Nets. And, whoever the Lakers deal with, Rob, you know this, they're going to try to bend the Lakers over the table. Sure. Say, we want all the picks. We want everything because we don't know how good you guys are going to be. And frankly, there is a reality, Rob, where it's like, assuming, Luka doesn't get hurt, this Lakers team falls out of the playoffs, and all of a sudden their future draft picks are good ones. So the Lakers are in a tough spot. Give me a percentage chance you think that LeBron gets traded.
Ooh, well, you got to factor in whether or not he was serious about the trade demand. And also the bigger thing is you got to factor in is he has a full no trade clause. So even if he did want out, that basically means he's going to pick wherever he wants to go. So when you factor both of those things in, I'm assuming if he wants out, it's probably either just to Cleveland, New York, or Golden State. I think those are only three teams that he would agree to get traded to. So maybe somewhere like in the 10 to 15% chance. But let's say, hypothetically, if he were to say, I don't like this timeline, I don't like the idea that you're building for 2-3 years down the line and not just this year for me. And if he really was hell bent on getting to one of those three teams, outside of Golden State, there's a number of options that would make it so I think both sides could be happy in a potential deal.
So someone floated this Cavs trade, since you seem hot on this Cavs idea. Somebody floated this Cavs deal. What if the Lakers traded LeBron and Bronny in exchange for DeAndre Hunter, Jared Allen, and Dean Wade? The numbers match up a little bit. Hunter is like a good 3-and-D wing. He could play the PJ Washington-ish role. Jared Allen, not an ideal rim runner, but a good rim runner. And then Dean Wade provides pop off the bench. It's just hard for me to be giving away LeBron James for freaking Dean Wade, DeAndre Hunter, and Jared Allen. Like, just this, when you say it, it's just like, no way. No, I can't do that. What are you talking about?
Right. Now, in an ideal world, if you're the Lakers, you're like, hey, how about you just do LeBron for Evan Mobley straight up? And
they ain't doing that.
I know the Cleveland wouldn't do that, but then also LeBron would be like, hell no. If I'm getting traded to Cleveland, it's because I want to play with Evan Mobley. I want to play with him and Donovan Mitchell. So then it's like, okay, well, the trade you mentioned works. Another one that's, pretty straightforward is Garland and Allen for LeBron. And I think that the Lakers would be happy with that. And I think you don't think they would be happy with Darius Garland and Jared Allen for LeBron James.
Darius Garland needs the ball. I've got Luka. No way.
I'm just for an all-star 25-year-old guard who's locked up for the next 3 years.
All right, hold on. Let's parse that out. So your backcourt is Luka and Garland. You've got what, Reeves at the 3?
Yeah, well, one of them comes off the bench, or maybe you flip Reeves or Garland, whatever it is.
And wait, and Jared Allen and Rui. Yeah, I don't know that that's Luka's going to look around and being like, what are we doing? Dallas part 2? I know we got to the finals, but that was like 2 years ago. That's a little
because again, you got to think, what would LeBron want? Because when with him having his no trade clause, similar to what happened with Kobe and back with the Lakers, 20 plus years ago, when he had demanded his trade and he went on Rick Bucher's show and he went on Stephen A's show and he went on Jim Rome's show and he's like, trade me to Pluto. I'll play anywhere but the Lakers. And they had deals in place that were ready to go that he straight up vetoed. Like, they had a deal in place to send him to Chicago and they were going to get Luol Deng back. And Kobe was like, nah. Luol Deng has got to be there if I'm going to be in Chicago. Like, they had a deal in place, I think, with Detroit. And he was like, no, I need Tayshaun Prince. Like, we're not going to do this deal if Tayshaun's in the deal. And ultimately, everything fell apart and nothing ever materialized. So LeBron is in the same kind of boat where whatever he wants in this kind of deal, he's going to get. Otherwise, there's going to be no deal. And for him, he'd be like, you're not going to include Mitchell. You're not going to include Mobley. Everybody else can kick rocks. And if that's the case, then that only leaves a couple of guys with the right amount of money, whether it's some combination of Garland, Hunter, Allen. I guess if you want to include Struz, sure. But like that's kind of what it is if he wants to get back to Cleveland.
So how about this one? This again, Reddit is just popping off right now with LeBron trade ideas. So there's a 3-teamer, Rob. Let me know what you think.
I'm ready.
LeBron to the Paperclips. He gets to stay in LA with his family.
Okay.
The Lakers get Norman Powell, Bogdanovich, Derek Jones Jr., and Walker Kessler from Utah. The Jazz get Dalton Connect, 2 first-round picks, and I think a trade exception or something like that to make the finances work. But basically, the Lakers would get their big center, their rim protector in Walker Kessler, who would be their Lively or Gafford around Luka. Derek Jones Jr. worked great with Luka. Norman Powell, I guess. Bogdanovich, one of those two comes off the bench. I don't know. How you feeling about that?
I mean, it's not terrible. It's not ideal, but like that's kind of the position you're in when you're trading away a guy who would have a no trades clause. You're not going to get the full bounty, just similar to what happened with Kevin Durant.
That's why you don't try. I would just rather have LeBron than any,
I mean, if he wants to be here, sure. But if he doesn't, then like, and if he doesn't that lead to a bigger conversation about what he's really motivated by? Because like if you don't think having Luka Doncic on your team is enough for you to at least be competitive, I'm not saying you're the favorites, but to at least be competitive, and you're saying that's not enough for me, like, do you even want to compete, or do you just want to have the prohibitive favorite every year?
Yeah, I think you want to be the favorite all the time. You always want to be leveling up and getting better and trying to acquire more assets. Like this idea, again, LeBron's probably close to a billionaire. Is he officially a billionaire yet or no?
According to Forbes, he is.
He is. Okay. So he's a billionaire, and you could be like, well, why wouldn't he just, tear up his deal and do a 1-year, $10 million cut? Well, the NBA PA would hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can't do that. That's just not realistic. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, LeBron should just take $5 million. Okay. Whatever your salary is, you go to your boss and say, hey, let's go hire this guy for accounting. I'll work for $8 an hour. Okay. You tell me how that sounds. Right.
Yeah.
This idea of LeBron taking less just not happening. Now, if you could sell him on, hey, if you take this, we have this trade ready to go. Maybe that changes the equation, Rob. I don't know, because there is the question like, hey, some of these teams, they're just like, oh, we want to avoid the second apron, the luxury tax, and the LeBron that does nothing for LeBron. The only selling point that I like from you, Rob, is this whole East Coast, the Eastern Conference thing.
Yep.
Like there's some teams he could go to, and instantly it's like, okay, this team could get to the finals. But I keep coming back to the Lakers with a 3 seed, like you said, with, I don't want to call him Fat Luka. That's disrespectful. But like, this whole Giannis situation, like they're not winning anything with Damian Lillard not gone.
Right.
I mean, who's their second best player? Bobby Portis?
Hey, shout out to Bobby Portis. Just got paid on Sunday, by the way.
Oh, did he? What did he get? I didn't even see that.
I think he got something like 3 for 36, something like that.
Yeah.
Or 3 for 44.
Does that mean they're moving on from Brook Lopez?
It definitely feels that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
3 for 44 was the number. Well, okay, we staying in the Eastern Conference again. We anticipate a guy like LeBron is not going to say yes to Hawks, Celtics, Nets, Bulls, Hornets. I don't think he'd go to the Pistons, Pacers. I don't think he'd go to Indiana. I would think Miami would be on the list, except that him and Pat Riley still don't like each other, so maybe that's not going to be an option.
No.
I don't think he'd go to Orlando. I don't think he'd go to Philadelphia. And, obviously, I don't think he's going to go to Toronto or Washington, which means it's Cleveland or New York. You could, if you wanted to, again, if he was hell bent on going to the Eastern Conference, there are a number of avenues for the Knicks too. Like you could say, hey, give me Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson, or give me Bridges, Hart, and Robinson. Like there are ways you could do it so that the Knicks would still be, just like Cleveland, would still be prohibitive favorites with LeBron James in tow. that would at least give the Lakers some kind of, I know we didn't get 100 cents on the dollar, but we got 75, 80. Like, and we got a guy who's not really happy out of the room, and we can build moving forward.
It just seems so unlikely. I mean, again, if the Knicks are giving up 2 starters for LeBron, who are they giving up? Bridges and Anunoby? I don't. I need
It'd
to.
be it'd be Anunoby and Robinson in one, or another one would be Bridges, Hart, and Robinson.
Josh Hart's second tour of duty with the
That's right,
Lakers.
baby. Former Laker turned future
Bridges.
Laker.
I just they're too small. They need a. I mean, Bridges and Austin Reeves are similar players. No, I mean Bridges more defense, Reeves more creation. Yeah, I'm of the belief the Lakers just need to tweak around the edges, Rob. I don't think they need a full scale. Oh my gosh, we got to do this.
I agree with you, but obviously LeBron doesn't feel that way, or else he wouldn't be putting these passive aggressive statements out.
Unless he's just saying this, right? To like, hey guys, keep your foot on the gas. I mean, listen, James Harden, what did he sign? He signed a 2-year deal. He's making
about 40.
40. He's still very, very good. You think there's a world where Kawhi gets traded?
No.
I floated this on the herd, and the salaries actually match up. What if the Celtics say, you know, we're not going to be able to pay Jalen and Tatum going forward, so why don't we just move off Brown? We can't trade Tatum. Is there a world where they say, hey, Clippers, you only have Kawhi for 2 more years? Let me double check, but I think it's 2 years. We'll take Kawhi. You take Jaylen Brown. Yeah, Kawhi has 50 this year, 50 next year. And Jaylen Brown is younger and has like a long runway and is going to be making a lot of money. The Clippers can then build around Jaylen Brown, who, by the way, went to Cal, was working out at my gym leading up to the draft. Jerry West was there. I wasn't able to get in the gym, but I was outside the window watching. And you build around Jaylen Brown, and the Celtics say, you know what, we're going to be able to punt this year, have Kawhi carry us. Not punt this year, but you know what I mean. Have Kawhi carry us.
I mean, they're basically already punting on this year, so.
Kinda. And, oh yeah, 2 years from now, we get Kawhi for 50 and Tatum, and then he's off the books, and we could just reload. Is that just too crazy?
That's not the worst idea. I mean, I don't think that.
Who says no to that?
Probably Boston. Just because.
So how does Boston? Okay, so let's look at the Boston salaries again. Hoops Hype salaries. So not this season, but 26-27. Tatum 58, Brown 57. Then 62 and 61. Then 67 and 64 mil. Like that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't see how you build a team. And then, you know, at some point they're going to have to move off Derek White. Like I think Brown is, I don't know if it happens this year, but that would suck to ride Brown all this year and then trade him when he's after he carried the team for the season.
So he carries them to like a 5 seed in the East, and they're feeling good about themselves. And like, by the way, you're getting traded to Charlotte. Like
the Halliburton thing is really, that's just so unfortunate for Indy, man. They could have made 3 straight finals because now you got Siakam basically wasting a year, and he's getting up there in age. You can't imagine LeBron going to like Detroit, could you?
No, like I said at the outset, I think there are only 3 realistic. I mean, I guess unless you want to count Dallas, just because Kyrie and AD are both there, but I just don't know how you would make the money work for that kind of thing.
No,
it's play with Steph, which he's always wanted to do, or go to the East where it's bombed out and depleted, and I have a freeway to the Eastern Conference Finals at a minimum, no matter where I go. But if I go to either Cleveland or New York, it's me and at least 2 other star players that I feel can have a really good chance of winning a championship.
So what if, again, Detroit's in a weird spot. I'm sure you saw the Malik Beasley news. He's under investigation for gambling. Yeah. Dude, there's a video circulating where he's not playing any defense at all. I find it hard to believe in a contract year someone would be that dumb. But, I mean, he also shot like 4. Didn't he lead the league in 3-point percentage or something?
Well, there was a video. The most damning one is actually they're down by 9 with 5 seconds left. They inbound the ball to him. Everyone's walking around. He sprints down the floor and dunks it. They lose by 7. And the number was 8.5.
Not great. not great. But again, like that shows to me, hey, that guy doesn't quit playing. So how about this? LeBron to Detroit for Tobias Harris, Ansar Thompson. Oh man, that's even tough to build. Detroit's paying nobody.
Exactly.
Tobias Harris is an expiring. I don't think you want Isaiah Stewart. He's like a major, major problem. Didn't he fight with LeBron last year?
A couple years ago, yeah.
Um, hmm. Jaden Ivey. Yeah, I don't know. Detroit seems like a little bit away now. Atlanta is really spicy. By the way, that trade they made where they get the unprotected best pick from New Orleans or
No,
Milwaukee,
yeah.
that is a major lottery ticket. I don't know. Do you want Trae Young for LeBron?
Not an ideal world, but
How could you pair Trae and Luka? How on earth
it
would
would
that
be
work?
terrible. You'd probably just get Trey Young so you have the asset at that point, so you don't lose
And
LeBron for nothing.
he's got a player option after next year. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Seems like they're going to build around Jalen Johnson, Risa Shea, Dyson Daniels, good defender.
Yeah, but if you say, "Hey, give me Jalen Johnson and even uh Okongwu," I'd be like, "Hell yeah, let's
I
do it."
like Okongwu.
So do
He's
I.
good.
But
Um,
who's to say that Atlanta would do that? Because Jalen Johnson, I think, is going to be a stud.
yeah, no, he got a major injury, but it seems like he's going to be okay. Rob, it sounds like I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but did they close WNBA All-Star voting?
I'm not sure. They may have, but I do know that Caitlin Clark was already at over 1.2 million.
Yeah. So according to there's all these Instagram accounts and Twitter accounts attributed just basically following around Caitlin Clark. They said she received 1.29 million All-Star votes this year. In 2023, the year before she got to the league, the top 30 vote getters, top 30 in the league had 1.17. That's unbelievable. I mean, I know that you guys are sick of some Caitlin Clark stuff, although I did get some really nice notes about the pod with Christine Brennan. You guys seem to like that. Obviously, when Clark is back and we need her, it's going to be big. But I guess we can wrap up. Obviously, USA Costa Rica was a thrilling match. Went to penalty kicks, Rob, in the Gold Cup. USA prevailed. Oh my gosh, big sweat. Listen, we don't have our best guys there, which hurts, but still, you got to be able to beat Costa Rica, even without your horses. Penalty kicks in the Gold Cup, it just goes right from regulation to PKs. There's no overtime. Penalty kicks is so stressful, but also so exciting. All right, that's it for today. We're trying to get one of my favorite interviews. We're trying to get him for tomorrow. Don't know yet if it's a lock. We will be back tomorrow, though. Either way, talk to you then.